Yeah, but apparently they're saying he's
He'd rather
I got this sign right, so I can take it to Sam.
Oh, good.
Yes, he saw me the other day, and I said, I'll get it. I have to get it up.
So you can only have one.
Good, Jen.
Mayor, do a test.
Test 1, 2, 3. Do you hear me?
Please repeat.
Test 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. I
We
could
are
go higher.
recording. Thank you.
I can count higher if you need me to, Janice. Got my education in New York.
There you go.
Good evening. Welcome to the, what is it? September 23rd, 2024. I almost said July. I'd get another 2 months out of my pool. Township Committee meeting held at exactly 7 o'clock p.m. at the Municipal Building, 770 Coopertown Road here in Delanco. Can I have a roll call, please? Janice.
Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Mr. Alette.
Here.
Ms. Seuss.
Here.
Mr. Templeton.
Yep.
Mr. Bartlett.
Here, also present, Mr. Schwab, our Township Administrator, Mrs. Lohr, our Municipal Clerk, and I think that's about everybody. Can you please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The sunshine statement, please, Janice.
Please be advised that proper notice of this meeting has been given in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act in the following manner. Written notice has been mailed to the Burlington County Times and Courier Post and published in the January 4th, 2024 editions. And written notice has been posted on the official bulletin board of the Township of Delanco at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. This meeting of the Delanco Township Committee may be transmitted via live stream on YouTube video. The streaming of the meeting is not intended to be relied upon as formal public access under the Open Public Meetings Act, and if the technology is disrupted for any reason, the township meeting will proceed in person as an official meeting in accord with the official notice. Thank you.
Thank you. Meeting is now open to the public for any comments or questions. This is session number 1. If you have any comments or questions, please approach the podium and give your name and address for the record. There will also be another session later on in the agenda. Meeting is now open to the public. Okay. Silence is golden. Meeting is now closed to the public. Go to comments and reports. Start with the Township Administrator, Mr. Schwab.
Thank you. A couple quick things to report. The annual municipal best practices inventory has been issued by the state. If you remember, that requires that we answer yes, no. We're planning to NA on about 80 questions, and we need to get a certain number of points in order to make sure that our state aid is not reduced. So we just received this last week. Go through it. I'm assuming we're not going to have a problem with it again any more than we have in prior years, but all the CFO and the clerk and deputy clerk will all get together and go through this and get back to you on it, and then we'll schedule a time to review it with you. Second, as I sent you, we had our audit exit conference with our auditor, and he submitted this with CFO and our finance clerk and the clerk, deputy clerk, and I. So we reviewed our financial health. Financial health is excellent with an increase in available funds for subsequent budgets. The fund balance increased from $3.5 million to $4.1 through 20. This is the audit for 23. The audit report itself will be issued this week, and so you'll be receiving that, and you'll be asked to review it. There's no comments that require corrective action plan. That's the most important thing to look at. And then once you're all satisfied with that, for the next meeting, we'll have a resolution to accept it on the next meeting agenda, and then it's advertised. The only thing we're going to work on, particularly with the new CFO, is to update our grant accounting. We have better ways, we think, to do it than we've been doing, so we're on top of it at all times rather than when the audit takes place. But we're very pleased with that. Tomorrow, I'm going to be sending out the annual memo for the 2025 budget. It's hard to believe we're ready to do that, and that'll be to be submitted to me by mid-November for the departments and by the end of December for the various organizations that are partially funded by the township, and then we'll set up our schedule for 2025. Just want to give a quick report on our Field of Dreams. We had an interesting problem with our new irrigation system. We have a brand new well. It's been doing a wonderful job, but all of a sudden, a week ago, it stopped working, and it appeared that it was electrical with the controls. We were going to just replace it, but the vendor who installed it was able to get it fixed. And so by last Friday, we had it up and running. We do have a 2-year warranty on it. We actually haven't paid the vendor yet, so we'll make sure that this is done correctly. But I just want to let you know it did take longer than we expected. Was not very happy with that, but we now have it up and running. The nice thing was that the system was able to be switched over to the old pump, so it wasn't as good, but it was what it was before the new pump. So we had something. Unfortunately, we're in the middle of a drought, except for maybe this afternoon and this evening. So hopefully it'll catch up by next week. The other thing is I probably will not be at your next meeting, October 7th. I have some conflicts that night, but we'll make sure that everything's ready for you for that meeting. That's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Have any questions for Richard? All right. Chief Tilger and Lieutenant Warren are not here this evening, but I did have a report emailed to me. This is as of the middle of last week. For the month of September, 671 calls for service, 125 motor vehicle stops, 62 motor vehicle violations, and various other types of incidents that were mixed in there. For the year to date, sit down, buckle up, 7,926 incidents in our little small town for this year. They're very busy. Sergeant Epifano attended a 3-day active shooter training course. The police department and the township rec department co-hosted a community PD night in the park and movie night event that was attended by approximately 100 people. I'm sure most of us will talk about that during our own reports. Sergeant Epifano attended the Glock Armorer course, which enables him to inspect and repair the agency's Glock handguns. Sergeant Deering attended a VINE training session. That's the Victim Information Notification Every Day course at the State Police Hamilton Barracks. They worked with Public Works to conduct markouts on Orchard, Walter, and Vine Street for the residential only no parking signs that are going to be posted in the near future. They started communications with the John Deere dealer to begin the purchase of the midsize Gator. And they have 2 spots reserved in the February basic course for police officers at the Gloucester County Police Academy. So that's my best impersonation of the chief for this evening. And we'll go to Janice for your department.
Yes, thank you. I actually have quite a bit. I'm going to go over some upcoming events, and flyers for these events are available on the table out in the lobby. This Saturday is the townwide yard sale, fall townwide yard sale, and there will be a book sale and yard sale by the Friends of Delanco Library, and the firehouse will be having their hoagie sale, and the Troop 19 Boy Scouts will do their pork roll, egg, and cheese as always, plus other refreshments. That's this Saturday. The very next day, Sunday, September 29th, is Hawk Island Cleanup Day from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Gather at the Vine Street Gate. Gloves, bags, snacks, and water will be provided. That is sponsored by the Delanco Recreation Commission. Saturday, October 5th is Community Cleanup Day from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is your opportunity to bring trash and recyclables, plastics, tires, a limit of 4, TVs and electronics, to the Public Works Garage. That's Saturday, October 5th from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Also that day, Saturday, October 5th, here at the Municipal Building parking lot from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. is the Delanco shredding event. So 2 things going on that day to help with your cleanup. And then on Saturday, October 12th, is Delanco's annual Community Day at the Delanco Firehouse, and that's 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. with lots of great activities. And I believe, Phil, if that's correct, Delanco Recreation also co-sponsors that. Okay, and a lot of neat stuff going on. Delanco's annual Community Day, Saturday, October 12th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Firehouse. And Saturday, October 26th, we have a flyer out in the lobby for the Delanco River Run 5K, sponsored by the Delanco Women's Civic Club. Always a great event. More information is available on the flyer. Next, I want to talk about elections a little bit. The county is in the process of mailing out vote-by-mail ballots. So if you had signed up for a vote-by-mail, used to be called mail-in ballot, it's now called vote-by-mail. Those are out. People may already have theirs, but they are in the process of being mailed out, which means those ballot drop box locations are throughout the county. There is a sheet out in the lobby on the one case as you're headed out of all the different locations that have the secure ballot drop box location. Delanco does not, because we just do not meet the population criteria to have a drop box, a secure drop box. The closest ones to Delanco, of course, they can be mailed in, but if you prefer to drop them off, the closest ones would be at the Edgewater Park Municipal Building, right up the road, 400 Delanco Road. Riverside has a secure ballot drop box at the Administrative Office Building on Pavilion. So that is for the vote-by-mail ballots. You can also, again, take that to the county office building, which is now in Morristown, or you can mail it back in or drop it into a secure vote-by-mail ballot drop box.
Mrs.
Early
Gordon,
voting,
If I
yes.
can interrupt you on that point, just to clarify, those drop boxes are clearly identified as the proper
Yes,
mailboxes.
it says
and-
county, yes.
And the boxes that we have out front are not the
No, I
boxes.
actually even have a sign on, we actually take our larger box in. There's one on the medicine drop box, because it looks shape-wise very similar, as well as our small drive-up drop box, signs that this is not an official ballot drop box. So early voting will be from October 26th until November 3rd at various locations throughout the county for early voting. So that's an option too, if you'd like to get your voting done. You're not doing vote by mail, and you'd like to get your voting done before Election Day at the polls. You can go to one of 7 locations throughout the county that have early voting, October 26th until November 3rd. This information is also on the display cabinet to the left as you're exiting. The closest early voting location to us is the Willingboro Public Library, 220 Campbell Drive. But interestingly, with an early voting, you can go to any location. So if you happen to be up in, for example, Chesterfield, during early voting hours, dates and hours, you can stop at the Chesterfield Township Municipal Building. Even though you might be registered Delanco, you can vote early voting in one of 7 locations in the county. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Janice, for that wealth of information.
Just one addition, also on the 26th is the trunk or treat event for recreation and movie night.
No,
Yeah.
that flyer I don't have in the
26.
lobby, so we can add that. So trunk or treat is October 26th.
Yep.
And is there a movie that night also?
It's
Yes.
the 26th, not the 25th.
Yeah,
26th?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Beetlejuice will be the movie after that.
Yes.
That should be fun.
So that's always a very, very nice event for the children and families. Again, sponsored by Delanco Recreation, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Feel the dream.
Yes. And if Recreation has a flyer, I can get those made and put those out in the lobby also.
Yeah, Erin has it.
Okay. Erin has the flyer?
Yes.
Okay, I'll get that from Erin.
Very good. Okay, reports from the Township Committee. I'll start to my far left, and Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. Okay. Actually, the Board of Ed has had 2 meetings since our last meeting, but I did attend the August 21st meeting, and so many residents did as well. Busing the children was a big issue, but the board indicated that they were unsuccessful at that time to obtain a license-approved driver. But since then, they have, and it's been resolved. But that was at the end of that meeting. That's how that meeting on August the 21st. Dr. Fitz did apologize to the school librarian for what was published in the agenda. It appears they will be revising her position for the new school year. And the referendum for the new roof and air conditioning units is up to $3.5 million. Garrison Architects will be presenting it at the September 18th meeting, which I was unable to attend. The question will be on the ballot in November. DISA, Del Riv, I attended their August 27th meeting. The Riverdale Rebels, that's the traveling softball team, has 3 teams of 12 players each. Their schedule's complete. They will be playing mostly evening games. The teams are doing their own fundraising to defer costs for tournaments and refs. Soccer has 171 registrations. This year, 34 minis. Opening day was September 7th. And we did have our ribbon cutting at the Field of Dreams, and I'll mention that later. This report was prepared as the dates go. They are planning a fundraiser, kickball. The date has been changed from September to 15th, but the new date's to be determined. And their next meeting is tomorrow night here at Town Hall. Hook Island, we had a meeting to review the signage and enforcement issues regarding property lines. The signage has been approved, and we're waiting for the cost and final approval. Janice and Carolyn and I worked the signage out, and then we met with other members of the committee to approve it and the professionals. Babe Ruth Day, I understand it was well attended. Sorry to have missed it. The seniors met on September 10th. It was their first meeting at the firehouse. It was well attended. Mr. Bill brought his therapy dog, Roxy, who was a retired Greyhound racer. She enjoyed visiting with everyone, and he explained the different places they visit. One of her favorite places is the schools because the children read to her. So he said she really looks forward to that. So the Hunt for the Alligator Jr., this has been an ongoing project that Alice Carl Smith has been working on for the past 20 years. We raised enough funds through a GoFundMe to have the marsh area scanned off the Rancocas Creek for the anomalies that have been detected in the past. The group launched 4 different drone mags that were conducted by RETTEW of Lancaster, PA, in the entire area, and we're still anxiously awaiting the results. Sewer Authority met on September 10th. The trunk line project, there was an issue at one location, does not appear to be related to our project. However, the contractor did note one issue, and that has been addressed. Still waiting for DEP to close out the project. There is a slight delay with the work at the pump station, still working on the bypass system. Once we receive the main control panel, the work can be completed. 989 Coopertown Road in Stylex, there's nothing new to report. 401 Creek Road, they currently have a septic system, and we cannot obligate them to connect to our system. So we are monitoring that process and checking with the Joint Land Use Board's engineer. Discussions are still underway regarding raising the tanks at the plant due to flooding. The operator's report is on file, and a letter was discussed and approved in the event of a project providing the resident with information if access to their property is required. Recreation, we met on September 19th. The meet and greet our officers was held on September with the Madison's Food Truck and Kona Ice. It was a great time. It was so nice to see so many families and the children attend. I did not stay for the movie, but I know Carolyn did a great job making popcorn and assisting in setting up for the movie. Cleanup day for Hawk Island is scheduled for Sunday, September 29th. Flyers and information to be distributed. A shout out to Paul Newman, who has been keeping me up to date on all the trash issues, for making a map for the cleanup. So we will have a map available that day. Community Day, as Janice mentioned, is scheduled for October 12th. Letters and emails were sent out to the businesses and organizations in town. The conceptual plan for Ash Street, we will show that to you later, but it was approved by Recreation. Trunk or Treat, we've already know that it's October 26th, followed by the movie. The Troll Hagatha should be set up at the Vine Street Park this week, I believe. Tomorrow, yeah. Carolyn may have more details on that. And Light the Night was another dream come true. On Friday night, Senator Troy Singleton was present at the Field of Dreams to assist in hitting the switch to light the night at the Field of Dreams. It was absolutely incredible. Thank you to all who participated in making this dream come true for our Field of Dreams. And Rec is very busy, and we will keep you posted on the scheduled events for the remainder of the year as we come closer to those dates. The History Board, I attended the open house yesterday at Town Hall. There were only 3 visitors in addition to the board members present. We did have a visitor who came in to actually contact the police in town, and we did provide that information for her, but we also gave her some information regarding her homeowners association. And I contacted the Fisher family to see about the statues at 721 Delaware Avenue to see if maybe we could have at least one donated to the township for our historic waterfront park. And I spoke to Mr. Fisher's son, David, and I had written him a letter about how I knew Mr. Fisher and the different things that transpired in town, and they are very happy to know that we are interested in the statues and we can have more than one, and we're going to look around town to see where we can place them in some of our other parks. So that's my report here.
Thank you very much, Kate. To my far right, Mr. Templeton.
Mayor?
Yes.
For the record, I just wanted to let you know that the recorder stopped recording. There is a disk failure.
Oh,
So the meeting can continue, but just for the record that it is not being recorded at this time, so.
Kate, you need to repeat all of that, please.
Now, I have it in
Yeah.
writing, so I send it to Bev.
Yes, send your notes, your report notes.
All right, and our live stream should still be streaming in case you need that for reference later.
Yes, let me double check that.
Gotta love technology.
Yes, we are still on live stream.
Okay,
Something with
at least something's working.
the system here, the software.
All right. Give it a little kick with your foot and hopefully
really.
we'll be good.
Turn to Windows 98 down there.
Yeah. All right, Mike.
Thank you. Good evening, all. Let's see. Last week attended the monthly court session, also the school board meeting. Is always very interesting. Been working the last couple weeks with Mr. Schwab and now with Mr. Olet on combing through our stormwater ordinances and some of the conflicts that we're discovering in some of the model ordinances, the shell, the boilerplate versions that the state gives us to start with. And so we're sorting that out with our engineers, our attorney, and conflicts with our own existing code to see if we can just amend some small portion of it or remove, replace, and so forth. So, but it's, we've actually got stormwater in two different sections, a Chapter 100 and a Chapter 249, and which has led to a dead end for some folks looking up that regulation. But under that stormwater in 249, there's a whole raft of ordinances that we have. Most of those look like they're in good shape, and there aren't, I mean, they're very basic, very simple ordinances. There's a yard waste, litter control, wildlife feeding, pet waste. Fun fact, I was looking up the pet waste one, comparing that with the DEP model, and looking at some other information. APA study, Federal Environmental Protection Agency, said 12% of our landfill is pet waste. 12% of the material going into landfills is pet waste. So our budget, our budget for this year, $225,000 for the tipping fees, disposal cost. So that's $27,000 if that estimate, that 12% holds true, that is just pet waste out of Delanco. So it's kind of amazing fact there. But anyway, working our way through that, and we're waiting some feedback from our engineers. We did get some comments from our solicitor today, and we're still got a little bit of back and forth that I've had with the DEP representative. Last night, we found out that some properties, some benches along the Rancocas Trail, in the county trail there, were vandalized, graffiti. The Environmental Advisory Board has an informational sign out there, and that was graffitied and spray painted. And so Mr. Bartlett, Mayor Bartlett, and I had some exchanges, and I had last night via text, and had some exchanges via. Somebody need to go somewhere?
We're not going to blow or anything, right?
All right. And then I contacted some of the environmental board members just to inform them of that. So anyway, today I went out and cleaned up the two benches and took my trusty scrub brush and a little bit of goof off and so forth. So it's a little disappointing. I mean, a lot of people put a lot of work into the county trail, EAB, recreation, and to have one person, probably a young boy, immature, decides that they want to, use that as their Etch-a-Sketch and deface it with some obscenities or things like that. And it kind of, it knocks the wind out of you a little bit. But that's, it's a one-of, and it's just one person. And my hourly rate is pretty close to zero, and our public works and the county park rangers and park maintenance folks have a lot better things to do with their time and their resources. So please, as a general public, when you're out and about in the community, in the parks, and somebody's doing something that's nefarious, and please call the police. There's a lot of cameras that we have in our parks. A lot of buildings in town have, and residences have cameras. And someday, we'll find somebody. We'll catch the person doing this or other things. So, but we move on, and we'll continue to make our community better and build things and improve. So, anyway, that's what I got. Thank you.
And you'll be putting your application into county parks probably tomorrow,
Yes,
I guess?
as long as they let me keep my scrub brush.
Very good. Thank you, Mike. Fern, your turn.
Yeah, okay. Some of this stuff is ditto from Kate's report, but let's see. September 7th, we had Babe Ruth Day, which was a nice event. We got it in just before, we finished up right before the rain came in, so that was a good thing. The senior meeting, again, at the firehouse, we had 48 folks there, and again, the presentation of the service dog was really wonderful, and the story behind this particular service dog that the gentleman had, and Field of Green, the lighting, That was on the 20th. Again, that was a nice event, and it was nice to see the lights get turned on, even though there was a power failure prior to, I guess probably about a half. So fortunately, the main power came on, so the switch could be turned on for the lights to go on. History board. This will probably end up going into discussion later on, but Delanco History Board has many artifacts, and our chapter 29 with our ordinances does not seem to cover those artifacts and how they should be handled, and whether it's the history board or the township committee. So we need to take a look at the language in there so that we're able to make sure that the artifacts are covered through insurance or how they're handled. There are procedures in place that when we bring in artifacts or things are given to us, there's a process that Peter Fritz at this time and maybe a few of the other history board members go through in documenting and where they came from. And so these items are put in our care, but the language in our ordinance does not cover what we need to have happen there. So I need to get back together with Peter Fritz and maybe Richard, or I know Kate was on has been part of the history board for many years. Maybe she could be part of the discussion also and looking at that particular ordinance and how it needs to be tweaked. Let's see. The booklets that are put out by the history board in our 2025 grant application, we're putting into for funds. We have a 1856 map of Delanco, which was given to the history board, and John Nardo and myself will be going over to Philadelphia to the Conservation Center for Arts and Historical Artifacts. This map that we have of Delanco is still rolled up, and we're all scared to unravel it without some professionals, and so we're going to do that tomorrow. But the other part of the grant is with the waterfront park, or historical waterfront park out front of the Zerberg Mansion. Next year, all the amenities should be there, and we'd like to request a box to be put there for the booklet that's being put together for the waterfront. We have the walking tour booklet for the old section of town, but there's also a tour that was given by Peter Fritz many years ago, and he's going to put that to paper and a booklet. And we'd like to have that in place somewhere towards the end of next summer, if not sooner, but to have that there when we open up the park, because we're going to have many, many visitors coming to see our park. And again, the history along our waterfront there is phenomenal. We have a lot of history. So we'd like to share that, but by getting a display box there so folks can take the booklet.
So you're putting that in for the 25 grant with the county?
Well, if we can put it in with the county, or if we can tack that box on with,
Yeah.
Only a few bucks.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say, just put it
Yeah.
in with the county, with our design, because we can put it, we can install it when we reinstall that library box. That shouldn't be an issue.
okay.
Could put it right next to it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
So we'll go ahead and
Yeah.
order that in advance.
Have Scott include it in the plan.
Yep.
Yeah, it has to be in the plan.
Have it be included in the plan. You don't order it, it'll be done with the park,
Oh, okay.
not separately, as I told you.
Yeah.
And then in 2026, we have our centennial. And again, we'll have many folks coming in, again, the history of Delanco, and so we'd like to have that as part of that program. Let's see that. The county commissioners, at their last meeting, authorized to make offer to purchase and execute an agreement with Rowan College at Burlington County Board of Trustees in the amount of $1 million for the Rowan College at Burlington County campus in Pemberton Township for the Department of Public Works Division of Engineering. I don't have the rest of the resolution. Once their minutes are approved at their next meeting, I should be able to get that and share any more details as far as what the plans are out there at the college. And let's see. And then they approved $250,000 for with, let's see, authorized an amendment to agreement with Richard Alamo Engineering Company in the amount of $250,000 for the design and permitting of landfill number 3 at the Resource Recovery Complex for the Department of Solid Waste. So it's projected that in 2035, the current landfill that we're using will be full and capped out. And so this money that they're spending to study and put things together is for the next landfill. And then again, once the minutes are approved, then I'll be able to get more details on it. Let's see. I had a few residents reach out to me, and it seemed, maybe it was coincidental, but the street sweeper. Folks would like to know if there's a schedule similar to, I guess, our fall pickup of leaves, where they go through town and pick up leaves, whether there's anything like that that could be put out so they know that the street sweeper's going to be in their area, you know, whether they can move their cars ahead of time, and so that the front of their homes can be swept with the street sweeper.
We'll bring that up at our next meeting with our Public Works Subcommittee, with Mr. Fenimore.
Okay, let's see. And that's all I have, sir.
All right. Thank you, Fern. Ms. Seuss.
Yes, thank you. August 28th, I attended the Code Enforcement and Hawk Island Subcommittee meeting. We discussed ongoing issues with code enforcement as well as some changes to our code regarding trucks. And that was also Sergeant Hoffman's luncheon for his retirement. So that was very nice. It was a busy day. September 3rd, we did not have a joint land use board meeting. There was no applications. Instead, we met with the circulation plan, aka traffic study subcommittee. We met with the engineers to discuss where we would like to have the traffic counters and different stations throughout the town. They can actually measure the type of vehicle, the weight, how fast they're going, so there are pretty detailed counts that they're going to be able to do. And we identified where they're going to be placed as well as within town and as well as well as on Route 130 where the jug handle is. They're going to put one there as well.
Yep.
September 5th, Public Works Subcommittee meeting. We met with, obviously, John and myself, Matt, and Richard. Were you there? I don't remember. But either way, we talked about the different public work things that are going on, as well as the hiring of 2 additional employees. I believe we are going to be making an offer to one soon, and we have some applications for another one. Later that afternoon, I met with Scott and Harry, our engineer and our planner, out at the Seawall to discuss the fence more in detail. The mayor attended that as well, to literally be on site to go over exactly what needs to happen there, come up with a detailed plan to figure out the fence along the seawall. That's still ongoing with Mr. Fox. I spoke to him earlier, and we're still trying to figure that out. The park will remain closed until that fence is installed, so that is a safety concern. Just to remind everyone, that park is still closed. Anyone found walking in that park is technically trespassing. I know there's been some issues recently with kids in the park, so hopefully the police can stay on top of that. September 18th, I put together a project management call with the mayor, Mr. Fox, Janice, and Richard, just to go over. So we do, like every 2 weeks, we do a call with them to go over the different projects when they're not at the meeting. to kind of get an update with everything, make sure everybody's staying on task, and make sure the projects are moving along properly. I think it's very beneficial. I think everyone is finding it to be a good call every month. September 20th, this past Friday, we did have the light ceremony with DISA. They had their soccer game out there with the 14U. We gave away pretzels, thanks to Recreation for putting that together. And it was great to see Senator Singleton out there for that light ceremony. We're so excited that the lights are finally on and working, and it was great for the kids to play under the lights. They really felt special, like they were VIPs that night, so that was really great. Thanks to the committee members that did attend that. I appreciate that. The 19th was the recreation meeting, as Kate mentioned. We will be presenting the park plan shortly for Ash Street so we can move forward with the DEP grant. I got an email from a resident regarding a New Jersey American Water grant that was available for a water refilling station that has the purification part of it. She had suggested that the town apply for it. When I read further, you had to apply as a nonprofit, so I contacted DISA, as I am on their board as the treasurer, and asked if DISA would like to apply for it, and they said that'd be great. So I went ahead and contacted the plumber, got the estimate, and applied for that grant. I submitted it last night to be installed at the Field of Dreams concession stand. Coincidentally, Recreation was going to install that anyway, so it was nice to apply for the grant. It's for $2,500. We got an estimate for $2,750. So I think either way, we'll move forward with that to have a nice purified water refilling station out there for residents and for people visiting the park and the county park. Tomorrow, the troll will be installed. That is a county project. If everyone remembers the big troll that was installed, they kind of did like a subset of, I think, 20 other trolls that the towns could participate in. Liz Thomas had come to Recreation as part of EAB to have Delanco have a troll installed. So this troll was like 4 feet tall, made out of like recycled materials and monster mud and all sorts of fun stuff. So we decided to install the troll at the Vine Tree Park in like a flower bed there. So that is going to happen tomorrow at 6 o'clock. They're going to install the troll, and it's going to be photographed, and then they have a troll unveiling with all the county trolls on Saturday. It's really neat. It's a really cool design. It looks like something that belongs in my front yard right now, though. So it's for Halloween, yeah. So Hagatha is the name of the troll. It will be on display until December 31st. After that, we don't know if we're going to keep it or if the artist wants it back, but we thought maybe it would be cool to install in the dunes, West Avenue dunes, and kind of have like a little plaque somewhere on the trail about it. So I think that's all I have.
Maybe we could put a Santa hat on it for
Yeah.
Christmas time.
Yeah.
So it's basically an art installation.
It is. It's an art installation. It was $500, and the contribution from the town was half of that, so $250. And it's exciting. We'll see how it goes
Yeah.
tomorrow. So if anybody's out there, that's what we're
Anyone's
doing.
heard of
6 o'clock in the evening. I guess they have day jobs. You know, artists, starving artists, right? They got to have day jobs.
Yeah.
So everybody's welcome to come out and watch the installation if you're around tomorrow.
So it's kind of like the Big Rusty that's in
Yes.
Hainsport, a miniature
Yeah.
version of Big
That's
Big
what it's
Rusty.
from. It's from the Big
Yeah.
Rusty, and it's an offshoot of that.
Right.
So
Very
that's all.
good. We'll look forward to seeing that. My report, I attended the fire company meeting on August 26th and the fire commission on August 27th. We had normal business. The fire company will be having its hoagie sale this coming Saturday, starting around 9 a.m. at the firehouse during the townwide yard sale. Make sure to come out and support us. Only $7 for a delicious hoagie. There'll be Italian, turkey, and American as always. And don't forget the Scouts will be selling their fabulous pork roll, egg, and cheese sandwiches for breakfast as well that morning. Let's see, a lot of the stuff I have on here is duplicates from what everyone else said. This is what I get for going last. I attended our project management meeting that Carolyn mentioned on August 26th and September 18th. August 28th, we had the luncheon for Sergeant Hoffman, who retired at the end of August after 20 years of service to Delanco, and I attended his final radio call sign-off the following evening. August 28th, we had our code enforcement subcommittee, and after that I attended the Meet the Principal event at the Pearson School with Mr. Santiago, the new principal, was introduced, and Dr. Fitz gave me a tour of the complete facility with the merged middle school and elementary school. August 31st, I performed a wedding here for a very nice couple and performed another one on September 15th. August 31st, Ms. Seuss and I took a tour out at Hawk Island on the Gator and mapped all the trails. I have an app on my phone that will GPS log everything, and we put together a map that we'll have distributed. It's with our professionals for review now, so we know exactly what is where and how to get out, and so people know where they're at on the trails, which is always nice. I've continued to work on some ownership matters and research on the properties on Hawk Island, including taking some trips over to the Burlington County and Camden County Surrogate's office to blow the cobwebs off some old records they have there. September 7th, I attended the Babe Ruth Day. I gave the opening welcome and reading of the resolution acknowledging the 100th anniversary of the Sultan of Swat playing here in Delanco. And I was also asked to throw out the first pitch, which I happily and poorly obliged. Yes, it was an underhand pitch, so I did somewhat good. September 14th, I attended the PD at the Park event at Field of Dreams, followed by the movie on the event lawn, and it was really, really well attended, and the police department and rec get 2 thumbs up for the job that they did there. September 18th, I attended the Board of Ed meeting in the evening, and as mentioned, Garrison Architects discussed the bond referendum that would be on the ballot in November to replace the roof and various HVAC systems at Pearson. And if it passes, for the average taxpayer, it would be an increase of $75 per year. There's no doubt that it's needed, especially with the roof being so old and having leaks throughout it. So we'll see how that turns out on Election Day. And if I understand correctly, the previous bond referendum for the addition is falling off roughly the same time, and that was around $50-ish or so.
Yeah.
So really the net increase for the complete roof and HVAC and everything will be about $20, $25 or so. And the state is putting in 40%, which they'll get back over the course of the 20-year bond. So I know the school district has all the information on their website at delanco.com. Make sure you check it out, and I know they'll be attending some events throughout town to discuss it more and answer any questions.
And that was $75 a year.
A year, correct.
Yeah.
5 cups of Starbucks coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's all for Township Committee reports. We have the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted with a single motion. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Does anyone have any comments or questions on consent agenda items or need anything pulled?
No.
Okay. Resolution 2024-127, authorizing change order number 1 and final for Township Paving Project. Resolution 2024-128, refund of lead paint DCA fees. Resolution 2024-129, providing for the insertion of any special item of revenue in the budget of any county or municipality pursuant to NJS 40A:4-87, Chapter 159, Public Law 1985. Resolution 2024-130, providing for the insertion of any special item of revenue in the budget of any county or municipality pursuant to NJS 40A:4-87, Chapter 159, Public Law 1985. Resolution 2024-131, release performance guarantee for Metropolis Delanco LLC / Life Storage, Block 2000, Lot 13.14. Payment of bills, current fund, $136,521.15. Payroll, $115,561.21. Capital fund, $30,754.45. Unemployment fund, $123.37. Escrow trust, $4,974.68. Housing trust, $2,794. Approval of business license 2024-48. Can I have a motion, please, for approval of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Seuss, second by Ms. Fitzpatrick, to approve the consent agenda. Can I have a roll call, please, Janice?
Yes, Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Mr. Olet.
Yes.
Ms. Seuss.
Yes.
Mr. Templeton.
Yes.
Mr. Bartlett.
Yes, motion passes. Correspondence, please, Janice.
Yes, Mayor. We received a letter of resignation dated today from Amber Perlmutter, resigning from the Delanco Recreation Commission, effective immediately. So her resignation, she was alternate number 1 for the Recreation Commission, and that creates that vacancy with that term vacant and expiring 12/31/25. We received a letter of interest in for an appointment with the Recreation Commission. That was also received today from a Jennifer Voisin, requesting to be appointed to the Recreation Commission. And that is the correspondence. Let me see. Wait a minute.
Didn't we have a letter for EAB as well?
Yes, there is a letter for EAB, I'm sorry, a resignation?
No, for appointment.
For appointment, yes. We received a letter of interest from for EAB also. You were forwarded that earlier in the week. This is what just came in today.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't pull EAB. There may be some openings on EAB, but I think the roster might be full. I'd have to double check that.
Pardon? It may be full?
Environmental Advisory Board
Oh, okay.
may not have any vacant positions, but I'd have to check that.
I can't recall off the top.
We would like to do, since Recreation has already interviewed Jennifer Bozine, and she is actually here tonight. She submitted her application to Rec at one of our meetings, and Rec was very involved, or Jennifer was very involved with DISA, and we would like to appoint her to that open position, since we have a lot of activities coming up, and we certainly could use her help. So can we do a motion tonight to approve her appointment?
Well, Ms. Perlmutter's resignation, she said effective immediately, didn't give us a future date. So if the Township Committee were to accept the resignation, then the vacancy exists and you can fill that at any point.
Okay.
I think Rec has a ton of events coming up, especially
Yes.
this
I
time of
think,
year.
did Ms.
so-
Voisin apply
Yeah.
She applied last year.
last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, so we would like to do a motion then to accept Amber Perlmutter Davis's resignation from Recreation.
Second?
Need a roll call or all in favor, good?
An all in favor is fine, Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, with regrets.
I'd just like to add for Amber Perlmutter continuing to serve as a volunteer on Shade Tree and the Environmental Board, and her leadership and enthusiasm and volunteerism towards this community is appreciated.
Thank you, Mike.
I'd like to make another motion to appoint Jennifer Rosine as a replacement for Amber Perlmutter Davis's unexpired term.
To 12/31/2025. That's alternate number 1
Yes.
position. I believe that was Amber's. Yes.
Yep.
Amber was alternate number 1 on Recreation.
I'll second the motion.
All right, all in favor?
I'm sorry. Okay, so that was Kate Fitzpatrick, second Carolyn Seuss, to appoint Jennifer Voisin to fill the unexpired term as alternate number 1 on the Delanco Recreation Commission, that term expiring 12/31/2025.
All in favor?
Actually, let's do a roll call
Okay.
on that vote.
All right, that's your
Because
turn. You
that's
give
an
the roll call.
appointment.
All
That's
right.
an actual appointment.
All right,
Okay, Ms. Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Mr. Olet,
Yes.
Ms. Seuss,
Yes.
Mr. Templeton,
Yes.
Mr. Bartlett.
yes. Welcome aboard, Jen.
I'm sorry? Okay. I didn't know this was happening tonight. I didn't bring an oath of office with me, but I can,
You remember it by heart?
not by heart, but I know enough if you'd like to take your oath of office. Or if you want to stop in the office.
Hey, Jen, stand on up, Jen.
If you work, we can do a quick oath. You still have to sign something. I just didn't bring one with me. Okay. All right. So do you want to take your oath right now? That way you can actually start working. They'll put you to work right away, right, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Is that okay, Township Committee?
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Jen, come on up, please.
That's okay. We're not judging.
And then what I'll do, Ms. Lindsay, is just, since you have to do your oath this evening, I'll just give the written oath to Aaron Provenzano, who's the recreation coordinator and secretary. You can just sign when you come in. It'll all be needed today anyway, so it's just a matter of getting your signature. It'll be all signed all the time. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jen Lindsay, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of Recreation Commissioner according to the best of my abilities. Congratulations.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, Jen.
You can give Joe the bad news. He's no longer eligible for Best Halloween Decorated House.
And Janice, it's like you did one of those
I had
once
a
or
big
twice
plan.
before.
It was my plan.
It's like you did one of those oaths before once or twice. You remember the whole thing. Good job.
I did miss a couple of parts, but the legal.
We just can't vote on it, that's all.
All right. Was there anything else for correspondence?
That is it.
Okay. All right, meeting is now open to the public for any comments or questions. This is session number 2. If you have any comments or questions, Mr. Weber or anyone else, approach the podium and give your name and address for the record. Meeting is now open to the public.
Evening, Raymond Weber, 22 ships. Question, dealing with our retention basins. Trying to find out when they're going to be cutting the retention basin.
First
Because-
frost,
What's that?
after the first frost.
What happens if we don't want the frost?
Climate change.
That's,
But that's just it. I mean, what happens is the township should be looking at trying to get the contract out there just in case, set up, going, because that retention basin has gotten a lot worse in the last, with all the rain we had earlier on, it's really grown, it's gotten a lot higher. We're getting all kinds of animals in there. So that's all I want to bring up, the retention basin.
That's what it's for.
because of that, that's,
No,
yeah.
it's not for that. So that's one of the things there we've got the problem with. Because there's a lot of crap in there and everything else, as well as a lot of the animals getting into there. And they're using it as a home, and it's going to get worse. We don't do something about it, because our landscaping guys cut up to the edge of it, like they've been doing along, but now it's 2 foot high, 2.5 foot high. The weeds and everything else that are growing in there are more and stuff, so that's just it, it's coming from the homeowners and so forth, so we just want to make sure that, it doesn't fall through the cracks. Thank you.
Got it.
Yeah, we'll talk to John.
Good. Thank you, Ray. Anyone else have any comments or questions? Sure. Ms. Stone.
Shanita Stone, 40 Swan Court. I have a question about parking in the Rivers Edge community. Specifically at our last HOA meeting, a lot of the residents in the community were complaining that they have been ticketed for double parking in the driveways. So I guess when the cars, they're parking their cars in the driveway, 2 cars back to back. When their cars are on the sidewalk, they are
believe that's law, that you can't park over a
I know
sidewalk.
it is, but there's people very upset about it. You would have thought that they.
Sure they are, but it's probably a question for the police, which I could certainly bring up to them, but yeah, that's anywhere in town, not just River's Edge. If you're parking over your sidewalk, you're impeding the sidewalk. People on, wheelchairs, pedestrians, they need to be able to use the sidewalks to go through. And I understand that parking is extremely challenging in River's Edge, since most people don't use their garages for parking. They have it as storage instead of using it as it's intended. But yeah, I just suggest don't park over the sidewalk.
I agree. Is there an ordinance that says that people cannot live in their garages in
That-
this town?
I believe that would just be part of the certificate of habitability, Janice?
Certificate of occupancy.
Occupancy, yeah.
Yeah, the certificate of occupancy would prohibit garages as a,
Like a bedroom?
yeah, because there has to be the appropriate, for it to be a room, it has to have the appropriate egresses that meet fire code.
Right.
Have a closet, just have
Yeah, you have to have a closet of a certain
Well,
size, I think.
Yeah, again, that's something that, the construction official and the fire officials would have more information on.
Right.
But garages usually are not CO'd for occupancy, for residing.
Right.
Ma'am, if I may quickly, could you just repeat your name and address?
Shamika Stone, 40 Swan Court.
40 Swan Court, thank you.
And I have recently been tapped to represent the school board at this meeting, and I'm not really sure what that entails. Do I speak here about what the comings and goings are, or do I just nod and support it from the audience? Or raise my hand and say, oh, I want to ask an extra? What does that exactly entail?
That's really what the school board asks you to do at these meetings. If you have something you'd like to convey, you can. Usually, the previous reps, Mr. Varga and Mr. Martin, really didn't bring anything to us here. They brought information back from the township meetings to the school board meetings, but if you have anything you would like to share here as a member of the public, you're certainly most welcome to.
Okay, well, two things. Number one, this week we're having, it's more of a PTO thing, but I want to announce it anyway, that this week we are having a book fair at Pearson Elementary School, and Friday night is family night. So if you want to bring grandchildren over to purchase some new reading materials for toys, please come and do so. It's a great fundraiser for our kids. Secondly, at our last school board meeting, the superintendent mentioned threat assessment teams. I wanted to talk to the police about that here today.
Our police department would be more than happy to speak to the Board of Ed and Superintendent Fitz. We have not heard from him at all this year yet, so more than happy to speak on any sort of matters. They can certainly reach out to him. Dr. Fitz has Chief Tilger's number, and he has a cell phone number, so he can more than happy reach out and talk about a threat assessment or set up a meeting, anything like that with the Board of Ed members, Dr. Fitz and his staff.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Shamika.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yes.
All right. Any other members of the public? All right. Seeing none, we will close this portion of the meeting to the public comment, discussion items. First item up for bid, review of current code limitations for number of dog and cat pets.
Well, we briefly discussed this at our last meeting, and our ordinance currently allows 2 dogs and 2 cats. And I think, Matt, you had checked with other municipalities, and there was some municipality that allowed up to 6 and didn't name whether it be a dog or a cat. Because I know a lot of residents have more than 2 dogs and more than 2 cats. So I think that's fair to increase it after all these years, and but not label it as 3 dogs or 3 cats, just label it up to 6 pets. I don't know how anyone else on the board feels about that.
I'm fine with that. I
On the
think that
committee.
makes sense.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
I don't have so much of an issue with what type of animal it is for 2 dogs, 2 cats, as opposed to a combination thereof. It really doesn't make a difference. Fern, Mike?
If you go down that road, then, again, limiting it to 4, of whether it's cats or dogs. The ordinance was probably put in place for control of pet populations. And it must have been an issue for the committee back then to put the stipulation in, limiting the number of cats and dogs. Cats have litters, how many cats do they keep? They put them up for adoption, the same thing with dogs.
I think one of the reasons why the ordinance was put into effect so many years ago was it was really a safety issue to have your dog or your cat licensed and also have them have their rabies shot. And the license fee is based on whether the dog or cat has been neutered or spayed. It's $12 if they're spayed, it's $15 if they're not. So it was really to let the town be aware that these animals exist. Number one, they have rabies shots, so it was really like a public health and safety issue. If I'm not mistaken, Janice, that was part of it.
Yes, it's about making sure that your pets, your dogs, and in Delanco we require cats also are properly vaccinated.
Exactly.
Because there are occurrences and instances of rabies.
Right.
That has never gone away.
And there was an instant where a dog was running loose, and someone was able to maintain him. And he had his Delanco tag on, but he didn't have a name tag. So I was able to come to the municipal building, check in the book, and find out who he belonged to.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have your animals registered.
Yeah, that's.
So I think by increasing it for the people who may have more than what is allowed, I think it will encourage them to register their dog or cat and seek that license. So I think it's a good thing because, I mean, to have to go to a homeowner and say, you have 3 dogs and you're only allowed 2, you need to get rid of one. I mean, I think that's beyond our capacity here. I don't think we have the right to do that.
Yeah, but if you put it at 4, then somebody's gonna have 5. If you put it at 6, somebody's gonna have 7. So
Well,
you're just gonna keep moving up the
I would trust that someone is gonna do the right thing. So, I don't
that's
know,
really
that's
the
my
case with anything in our
suggestion.
ordinance.
It doesn't say that that's what you have to do, but that's my suggestion, up to 6.
I second.
How many folks,
I'm saying I second her opinion.
Okay.
how many folks actually register their cats? I think dogs probably get registered more than cats do.
Curly's number 1. And he has been for 16 years, so. And my dog was number 1 too, until she passed. But yes, I think if we advertise this and more people and post it out there and get an email blast out, I think you'll see more and more people registering their animals and making sure they have their vaccinations. I think it's a good idea.
Now, in the code, you have 2 different sections, 2023-15 and 123-15 and 123-23. 15 limits, section 15 limits the number of dogs, and 23 limits the number of cats. So if what you are deciding is to say you can have up to 6 or whatever number you go with of any configuration, then we'll probably have to repeal these sections and create a new section saying that, the number of dogs and cats may be up to X amount if you want to have all cats, all dogs, if that's where you're going. If you just want to say, well, you now can have 3 dogs, you can now have 3 cats, that's an easy amendment that I can put together, ordinance amendment.
I think if we do anything, it needs to be a mixture of them, not breaking down by the breed or by the species, feline or canine.
That's committee's decision.
Yeah.
But what you decide will determine how the code has to be amended.
Right, but in either way, the code gets amended, it will go through the normal process of ordinance.
Yeah, an ordinance.
Reading,
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah, we have to do an ordinance, public hearing.
Right.
Yes.
So, how would you feel if we just did up to 4? Do you think that's, how do you
Or
feel?
of anything,
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 of anything instead of 6.
I have no issue with that.
Okay.
For any comment, okay, then I will get with Doug on how to revamp, because our code is currently
Right, it's
dogs,
specific.
cats, then a section for cats, now you want to say in any combination.
Yes.
So I'll get with Doug on, and the
So-
best way to write that language.
Does everybody think 4 is better for Delanco rather than 6? I mean, I just kind of picked 6 because
Yeah.
Matt had read that.
I don't know how many people have 6 dogs, but.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think then you start to talk about kennels and
Yeah.
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 So
Running
up
a
to
business.
4.
4 is good.
Yeah,
Up to
like,
4.
I think Delran, they had no limitation on theirs, which I think that's absolutely ridiculous, but.
Yeah. So how about up to 4 animals? That's better.
Yeah.
That's
I
reasonable.
have no issue
So
with
whether
that.
you have 3 cats, 1 dog, 4 cats,
Any
Yeah, 3
combination
dogs,
thereof.
2,
cat,
2,
yeah.
like, or
A dog that identifies
whatever
as a cat,
combination.
anything, yeah.
Now, the other thing I've
Ray's
heard,
shaking his head.
you say pets and animals. Our code prohibits any other type of animal.
Dogs and cats
Dogs and
limited
cats.
to
This is
4.
dogs and
Yeah,
cats.
dogs and
No
cats.
goat, sheep, horses,
No,
anything
you
else.
actually need a waiver by the township committee if you want to have we've had actually people come before the township committee for the Vietnamese pigs.
What if they have like a lizard or a guinea pig or?
More restricted?
They're technically not allowed in our code.
Question number 2.
Oh, we're just not going to
I
talk
know.
about it then. Okay,
Okay.
so
I know, we don't go there, but,
poor
But
dogs.
For dogs and cats,
Yeah,
4 of
we'll just start
anything,
with
and we're
4.
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because we have.
I'll get with Doug to, the best way to
This
reconfigure
way,
the code
yeah,
then.
3 dogs and a
Since
cat.
we already have 4.
Yeah,
let's
that's-
say
that's
up
easy
to
enough.
4 and no
way to
more.
start.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
good, yeah.
All right, next
Well, I
item.
just want to
Yep, go ahead.
mention, we were talking about the stormwater and the pet waste thing and the numbers that I had stumbled across. You know, at the 12% of our tipping fees are $27,000 out of our budget. So if you're doubling the number of animals, so that's what, very broad estimate of $54,000. That's over a penny on the budget. So that's
I
like
don't
20
think anybody's
bucks,
running out and doubling.
$20 tax
So-
increase.
Well,
So
what
we're
we-
keeping the same number of
We had the
cat
same
and dog
number
poop
of
now,
pets,
so.
we're just taking away 2 dogs, 2 cats, so you still can have 4. That's what our ordinance says, they can have 4, but they can have 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Now they can have 3 and 1.
Just pointing out
4
the
of one.
cost.
Yep,
So,
same percentage of poop we got.
yeah,
Not a crap.
yep.
All right.
They have litter out now that you can actually,
Sawdust.
yeah, and they have it, you can flush it down the toilet, so.
Well, that sounds more like a topic for sewer authority.
Yeah.
How about we go to a place where the dogs and cats maybe can roam? Hopefully not.
Yes.
The Ash Street Park concept / design plan, and
Oh, yeah, okay.
going to be presenting on your board down there for the members of the public to see. All right.
Should we put it in the center here?
Probably do it like right by those chairs there. And- Yeah, and turn it so,
We don't need to see.
We have our thing.
well, we have our copies.
We
Turn
have
it,
our copies.
turn it to the audience so they could see. And anyone watching at home, this will or may have been already posted on the website, so you could, if you can't see it on the camera at home, you'll be able to see the PDF on the website.
All right, so.
Karen, why don't you just grab the wireless mic there?
Yeah. I ordered one, forgot it. 200 Ash Street was the canvas shoe factory, right?
Yes.
We acquired that property, demolished the building, and now the ground needs to be remediated. We got a grant from New Jersey DEP for about $290,000 to do that. In order to finalize that grant, we had to put together a formal park plan. So right now we're calling it Ash Street Park. We met out there a few weeks ago with our planners and recreation, and our planners came back with this design. We are going to essentially keep this open lawn concept. What you see here is a sidewalk. These circle items are shrubbery. These are some trees, some existing trees. We have a existing boat launch that's out there now that we're going to turn into a kayak launch that's going to be handicap accessible. We have some benches along the water here. We have a bulkhead reconstruction, kind of what we did at Historic Waterfront Park down the road. This is a pavilion over here to overlook the creek. We do have some fishing, I think that's going to be happening here as well. Interpretive sign to talk about the history. Perimeter fence along the entire property line here. We are going to incorporate a parking lot, so I'll let you talk about that side as soon as I'm done here. Picnic tables, we're encouraging families to come down, sit along the water, enjoy the view, have a picnic. Obviously some trash receptacles, and then we're going to propose some cornhole, like permanent cornhole courts. Right now they have them over here that's kind of closer to the houses. I think we propose maybe to move them farther away so they don't hear the bags dropping as much. So we also are going to install a grill station here near the picnic table, a fishing line recycling station as well, that's important. And you can kind of see here the proposed shrubbery, fencing, and benches. So Kate, if you want to talk about.
Sure, thank you. So we have, Carolyn did kind of point out that we do have some proposed sidewalks that are around there, but also into the park. There is existing sidewalks. This is Rancocas Avenue. This is Ash Street. This part of Ash Street we will be able to utilize for some parking as well. There will be an entry sign here, and we will have some brick pavers, and there will be an information kiosk, something like, I'm sure we'll do some kind of booklet like the history board does for this, because there may already be a booklet that he did on the Ridgeway, because it was also the Ridgeway Shoe Factory. And there'll be a pet waste station and an entry sign. Crosswalks here will be all around here because of this is Rancocas, and then there is Franklin Street, yes. So there's a lot of crosswalks here that are going to come into here, and we'll have a bike rack. So if you want to ride your bike, and yes, right along the Rancocas Greenway bike trail, walking bike trail, and there's existing trees. There are some existing trees that we hope to keep. There's a lot of underbrush and dead trees in there that have to come out, and we're going to be doing that very soon. And actually, it's a conceptual plan, and the purpose of it is so that we can move forward with a grant from DEP so they can start the cleanup process. So it was approved by REC at our September 19th meeting, and so we hope the Township Committee will move forward so this can be submitted to DEP and we can get moving on that cleanup.
Just wanted to point out over here, we're calling this Creekside Overlook. We are going to have security downlights there, so motion lights and cameras, obviously to prevent any more damage, vandalism like occurred out there at the Rancocas Trail. We're going to do a dedication plaque, obviously, to the park, dedicating it, which involves, since we're going to have cameras, we're going to have to install that electrical service as well. Initially, we had proposed a larger pavilion here when we met out there. So, that's still going to be talked about. Like Kate mentioned, it's definitely a conceptual plan that will be tweaked as we discuss it further. There is an existing a basin that's there right now that we're going to utilize more since we are going to be taking away some impervious coverage there. So that will kind of be utilized as existing, so less cost. So we don't have any price tag on this yet. I'm sure that's your next question. This is just to move forward with the DEP plan and get that going. So That's it. Thanks.
Okay, don't go away.
Okay.
A couple questions.
Questions? Sorry.
Yes. Okay, I think the interpretive sign from
Uh-huh.
History Board, I think you referred to that, Kate?
I did. Yep.
So that would be included or
Of
somewhere.
course, I mean, we're not going to do any new parks that have history involved without having the history board involved. I mean, it's just kind of like understood. I don't know
Well,
why anyone would think we would do it without them.
okay, and again, from a history standpoint, we have the Sneak Box boat, which I'm supposed to return to the Tuckerton Museum, which actually belongs to Delanco, the boat, but they're going to store it for us. And if it could be put under consideration that we put some type of small enclosure that we can put the Sneak Box in there on display and to be able to store it there. The Sneak Box was built by the Steel Company, or Steel Family.
Steel Family.
And they were located somewhere between, I think it was Poplar and Ash Street. Somewhere in there is where the boat was actually built.
Fern, we're presenting this as a conceptual plan just to get moved forward with DEP. This is nowhere near the final, so any of those suggestions would certainly be appreciated for what to add down the road. I mean, I can't see anything actually happening here for at least a year or more.
Well, again,
But yes,
things can move very, very quickly, and
but
yeah.
yes, definitely, that would be something to consider.
it doesn't have to be anything humongous, but something that
Yes, but we're
could
not
be
going
a-
to change this plan now to get this to DEP.
Okay, and I take it that you already looked at the entrance. There's a curb cut already there on Rancocas,
Yes.
and whether that was taken into consideration. We're just gonna have.
That's why
I see the
would
parking
be
lot there, right. So we'll just have the one entrance exit off of Ash Street, based off of the plan.
Right here, yeah.
Yeah, I think they were trying to limit the traffic, you know, because there's houses right there, so they wanted the traffic to go in off the Ash Street in and out. But again, conceptual.
Conceptual, you just
I
have to,
can half the amount of parking that's on there if we want to, but right now it's just something we gotta
I mean,
get.
it's a nice
Yeah.
Yeah.
conceptual plan. And, you know, having the trees, and again, being able to utilize that waterfront, you know.
Yeah, it's a
again, I see
gift.
fishing and, you know, it just, yeah, looks nice.
yeah, it's great.
Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, you mentioned the DEP grant. I don't recall anything like that coming through.
It's the remediation grant.
Right. Is there more to say about that? I mean, we're a committee of 5, and I haven't seen that. What are you talking about?
To clean the grant, it's to clean the ground.
You said it got,
Historic fill.
you said it got approved.
It did, yes.
We haven't seen that.
Not my department to tell you that.
Why not?
It's up to your administrator to communicate that to you from Mr. Fox, I assume.
Yeah.
I assume the committee knew about it.
We won't get the formal, we have to submit this to get the
We
formal
have, in
approval.
order to get the
This
form,
staff has advised our engineer.
But you mentioned, you mentioned a number.
Yeah, he reported it.
he reported it at our township meeting.
Yeah, I don't have it.
It was 75% of what we asked for.
Right.
It's like $280-some thousand, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
It sounded, the way you phrased it, it sounded like it was already approved or something like that. So
Well,
I just hadn't,
It's conditionally
Right,
approved.
that's the
based-
word, conditionally approved, that's
Based
correct.
on this.
By
Right.
staff.
And Harry did report that. That's why we got this done as soon as we could to get
Okay.
that moving.
has the ERI engineering looked at this or had a piece of this
He
this
was,
plan?
actually, yes, he was,
I provided a documentation for Harry to do this.
yeah.
He gave
Okay.
me the plans, whatever information
All
he
right.
had. which is-
No, just because, a good part of that lot floods with the high tide. The tides are getting higher, and about 20% of the left side of that is inside what's called a administrative floodway, which there cannot be any obstacles or anything in that zone.
Right.
So it's just something to consider going forward.
Sure.
That may be something DEP makes a point of, so just so have that in the back of your head that you might have to change that front
Oh, definitely.
portion there.
I mean, it's just to get us where we need to get the soil clean.
To get it
DEP
moving.
wants to make sure we're committed to make it a park rather than faking them out and getting their money and then putting a high-rise there. I mean, that's, frankly, that's really what it's all about, I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah.
They gotta check their box. Oh, yeah, they really are gonna do a park there. They've invested in a plan. Look at that. It could be totally different when you do it.
We're not applying for a permit for a seawall or anything.
Right, no permits.
Into all that.
It's just to get the remediation money cleared. Once that's done, then you make the next
Yeah,
step.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Okay, the only thing I had, you mentioned it already, is just moving those cornhole further away from the residences.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice-looking plan.
Why don't you, somebody make a motion to accept this as a conceptual plan to submit to DEP?
I make a motion to accept the Ash Street conceptual plan to submit to DEP.
Second. Sorry, needed water.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
For 5 ayes. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll make sure we
Just
get this going.
A note, I know that, again, the history board was looking to call it the Ridgeway part versus the Ash Street part.
We're just calling it Ash Street because it's on Ash Street. We don't have a name yet, but yeah.
Yeah,
no,
for the
that'll-
purpose of DEP, they don't want it, let's not
Yeah.
complicate
Yeah,
things.
let's not
Okay.
complicate it. We make it short and sweet and simple.
Until the remediation is done, you really can't do anything else, so
Right.
let's stop, let's get the money, let's get the remediation done, that'll take a while, and then you can decide what you're actually gonna do, because the remediation may affect the detail of that plan. And then when the engineers get involved, as Mike said. So, but right now, this will get us the next steps that we've been waiting for a year and a half.
Sounds good?
I don't even know if we put it in our capital budget for next year because we don't even have the cost, so I think it's something.
Well,
for-
what's in the capital budget is the remediation piece.
Remediation
Because we have to do our
costs, yeah.
share, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, the actual plan, you can't do, till, you can't even price out something until after remediation's done.
Exactly.
And then you change the concept into something that's a lot closer
Yeah.
Right.
to reality.
And-
It's more of a 3 to 4 year plan.
Correct, that's
Exactly.
correct.
And we did save about 500 or more bricks to use for the sign of that park.
Yeah,
For
so-
the, as requested by the history board.
It's sitting
Peter
somewhere.
actually picked them out.
Yeah, so we're all very aware of the history behind it, and of course would incorporate the history board in the park plan moving forward.
Yep.
Thank you.
Don't get excited.
All right.
Thanks
Last
for moving
item
us along, Carolyn.
is proposed
No problem.
ordinance for
I like it.
stormwater regulation compliance. Fern, Mike, you guys have been working on this. Do you want to take the lead on the discussion, or is there anything
We
to
don't
discuss?
have anything right now at this time.
Well, that was easy to report then.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Good.
yeah.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else then?
Nope.
All right. Do we see any reason for an executive session? Please say no.
No,
All right. Can I have a motion for adjournment, please?
so moved.
So moved. Second.
Okay.
This is a free state.
Motion by Fern, second by Kate, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming, everyone.
I can't find it. Maybe, Matt, the other one.
Matt, where's the feather sign section?
Feather sign on it. On the sign.
Oh, geez, hold on.
Oh, I did get the recording going.
I
You
didn't
did?
look.
Yeah.
Didn't stop on that, though?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Here, I couldn't find it specifically. I looked through the
It's
word.
under the exemptions.
Oh, okay.
Right here.
Oh, it is.
One per business per street.
So he can, so he's okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
that was kind of the,
Yeah.